We're with Mark Wayne Mullin, the Republican for the 2nd District of Congress, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
In roughly a minute or so, tell us why you think you're the best candidate for the job.
Well, you know, we've all sat around and griped about the direction this government's been going. And if we're going to really change the direction, then we got to change the type of person. So often we pick the same person that's got a background in this or that, or they've made a career in politics. Those of us that dealt with government regulations, those of us that's actually made a payroll, that's been able to put it on the bottom line and see how much damage the government's doing to small businesses, those of us, we have to stand up and take time away from our companies, take time away from our businesses, and go serve. That way at least our voice can be heard, because what's going on right now is killing us. And yet you got both parties that's up there trying to tell us they're trying to get this economy back on track, when in reality, every day it costs us more and more to be in business.
All right, speaking of that, the economy and jobs, the number one issue of this election cycle, what would you do to create more jobs and help boost the economy?
Get the government out of the way. Look, we're from Oklahoma. There isn't any of us that's afraid of work. But we can't. The cost of doing business is so great anymore. We spend over 40 cents on every dollar that comes in the company to comply with mandates or regulations. If they really want to get serious about getting this economy back on track, just simply get out of our way. We can work, and we want to work. We just can't.
You know, another big issue is obviously deals with health care, and the Supreme Court upheld the Health Care Reform Act.
Yes,
what's your plan? What would you like to see happen with health care?
We got to repeal Obamacare. No question about it. It has to be repealed. Look, over 90% of Oklahoma's economy is driven by small businesses, and we're the ones going to take it right on the chin. We're the ones that's going to end up having to foot the bill for this. That's just one of those things about getting the government out of our way. They're saying one thing about getting the economy on track, and on the other hand, they're slapping us around by more and more mandates and regulations and taxes.
The nation's debt and deficit continue to go up almost every day. What would you like to see happen with spending and trying to cut the debt?
You know, it's absolutely absurd or crazy to think that we're going to actually get ourselves out of debt by spending more. We have to start making cuts. And in any household, when you start making cuts, we understand it's not comfortable. But the only way we're going to get it back under control is that we got to start looking at our back doors. We got to start looking at the things closest to us. And the government, if we start looking at government regulations and government mandates, we spend more on those issues than we do in our own national defense, yet we're not talking about cutting those. If they would just get those out of the way and then let the economy start growing, we could balance this budget in a relatively short period of time, but we can't do it on the pace we're going or the direction this country's going.
With every election cycle, we're getting closer and closer to Social Security running out of money. Yeah. What's your plan for Social Security?
We got to stabilize it. And the best way to stabilize it is to get all Washington's hands out of it. We got to use it for what it was intended for. Look, they made a promise to us that if we pay in, the money's going to be there when we hit a certain age. And that promise isn't kept. We got to keep our word. But what they keep doing is they keep funding special interest, things that is their pet projects, rather than leaving it alone and letting Social Security stand by itself. It's like a promise doesn't mean anything to them.
Congressional approval ratings are the lowest point in history, around 12%. Some people even have it around 9%. Yes. What can you do if you win the job when you go to Washington to help turn that around?
Change the type of people we send. The people we have up there, they don't relate with us. A representative is supposed to be from us, understand our issues, not get familiar with them. They're not supposed to just use talking points. It's supposed to be passionate to them so they can go up there and take the fight. And what we have is just the same jargon we get over and over again. It's people getting up there saying the same things because they polled it and it sounds good. But if we can actually change the type of people, change a representative that comes from us, goes up there, serves for a period of time, and comes home, and they've got to live by the same rules that everybody else, what they get accomplished or don't get accomplished, they've got to come back and live by. I guarantee you the ideas and the direction this government's going would change in a heartbeat, and hopefully the approval rating will go up, because look, I don't want to be in 12%. I want everybody to like me.
Yeah. Okay, and real quickly, some people say that the U.S. should not be the peacekeeper for the world. What do you think should happen with the military as we move forward?
Military has to be the strongest. Period. We got to have the strongest military in the world. I would always prefer to fight on somebody else's soil than our own, but we shouldn't be the police of the world either. You know, why are we spending so much money in countries that don't like us? It doesn't make any sense to me, and it doesn't make any sense to most people.
Very good. Mark Wayne
Sir,
Mullin, thanks
thank
for
you for
joining
your
us.
time.